Sometimes in the heat of battle, some weird things happen. Today I'm going to cover the 10 must-watch awkward moments in the UFC boxing. Welcome back to Stars and Sports. Let's get into the video. Number 10, can't keep a straight face. Tension levels are high before matches start, but not so much for Manny Pacquiao. He might show a strong before during weigh-ins. However, the reality is he is very fun-loving and lively, so much so that he can't keep a straight face when looking into his opponent's eyes. He was smiling throughout the weigh-in, and right when he looked up at Adrian Bronner's face, he lost his composure and started laughing. The scenario shifted from serious to non-serious in a second, and even Bronner started laughing. Number 9, barely made it. There are several weight categories that players must fall under to compete within it. Fighters have to manage their weight accordingly with their diet, etc. However, not all fighters are able to do so. This one female player had a hard time falling under the weight category before the match, and to prove she was within the limit, she had to remove all her clothes on the weight scale. Her helpers had to keep towels around her so that the media wouldn't get a glimpse of her body.
He uses elusive movements that has been a riddle that no one has been able to solve. Stylebender is one of the most...
Number 8, awkwardly intimate. It was finally time for the long-anticipated weigh-in between Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman, but it was a cringe fest because the fighters got too close to each other. It was so close that their noses and lips touched each other's. The referee had to pull them apart. It got pretty weird, and the camera shutter started clicking the moment quickly too.
Quick takedown.
Number 7, bending a frying pan. During a weigh-in, one female fighter tried to show her strength by making an attempt to fold a frying pan with her bare hands. Everyone was left confused at this stunt because it was not necessary at all. Of course, everyone knew she was strong because she made it to the biggest fighting championship ever, and trying to show this with a frying pan was uncalled for. It was a joke.
Just do this interesting one.
Do the one you feel confident in doing.
Number 6, proposal. One professional fighter showed to everyone on camera that he had his priorities right. At the time of weigh-in, he met his opponent, and instead of moving ahead with them, he turned back and took out flowers to propose to his girlfriend, who was right behind them. It was awkward because the girl was unable to react properly in front of the cameras and remained shy. Number 5, cheating. Being under the weight limit to play within the category is one important factor in UFC MMA fighting. Even a few decimals over the category weight doesn't let the fighter fight. For this one fighter, he weighed 1 pound over the category he was competing in. This meant he couldn't compete, but he returned 2 minutes later and cheated his way into the category. He put some of his weight on the towel to fall within the required weight.
Brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers, it's Miller time.
Number 4, dance off. Despite the intense air of competitiveness during weigh-in, some fighters find their way into making the competition interesting. These two female fighters knew just the right thing. Right after their weigh-ins, when they were supposed to touch hands, instead one of them instigated a dance-off and the other followed. All the competitive heat just got lost in the moment. It was super cute and a gesture of friendship. Officials might find it weird, but it is a good representation of player respect towards each other. Number 3, 1 foot off the scale. Weigh-ins can be tough given you are not paying attention to your weight and eating like crazy. That's how your weight increases, and then you have to resort to cheating to make it into the category. That's what one MMA player did during his weigh-in. He tried to take 1 foot off the scale so he could weigh lighter. The referee was constantly correcting him, but he continued to find ways to put the foot off the scale to be under the weight category. That's cowardness. The person can't handle his eating habits, and on top of that, cheats to make his way in. It was awkward for him to let the viewers, because we all know what he was up to. Number 2, heated weigh-in. Fighters try to increase the heat during the weigh-in so that the adrenaline and anger gets into them before the fight. But it went beyond the boundaries during the weigh-in. In this match between Ryan Garcia, a girl standing behind him gets pushed as his opponent, Rodriguez, pushes him in the anger. The push was strong enough that Garcia's back hit the girl and she almost fell to the ground.
You're unconscious. Look at you roll over. You're completely unconscious. Your eyes...
Number 1, backflips. Sometimes players do the most unnecessary things to show dominance, and most of the time their over-efficiency backfires. Such was the case with Michael Pereira during his weigh-in. He came out onto the scale, and as his weight was announced, he tried to get off it with a backflip, but it wasn't successful as he'd hoped. He wasn't able to land on his feet as he did a backflip, and all we could feel was secondhand embarrassment. He tried to do a half backflip and forth to cover what he'd done before, but it just couldn't stop being awkward. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video. So long.